First of all, you got to understand what you're trying to do. Right? Strategy defines that. I'm just reading Chet Holmes' book, which is actually pretty good, and you have a homework to go read this book. Later, I'll tell you about the homework. So what's important about sales? Is it selling more? Is it selling better stuff? And so on. The purpose of strategy is to figure out answers to those questions, right? What is it that you're focused on? Is it just cranking out the numbers? Or is it changing the product for what you need, etc.? Is it having very close personal relationships with your customers so they never leave you? Right? So there's no right answer. It's about strategy here. Right? The idea is to define a game so that you will win the game. And the idea number 2 is to define the victory so that it's worth winning. Right? Don't forget the second part. So the first exercise is pretty straightforward. Go take one of your products and run through this. Yeah, hopefully you get some ideas here. But the second one is to prompt you to think a little bit more. I think about 90% of the executives that I meet, managers I meet, are tactical executives. You tell them, charge up that hill. They go make a plan and they charge up the hill. Right? Is the right hill, wrong hill? Doesn't matter. They charge up the hill. The second group of managers are what I call the strategic managers, right? They'll sit there and they'll think, yeah, we should charge up that hill instead of this other hill. And they'll sit there and think some more about which other hills that they should charge up. But they don't do anything about it. There's a small segment of the population that are execution executives, right? That figure out the strategy, which is what we're talking about here, and then the execution, and then go make it happen. So ask yourself, what type of executives are you? Here's the execution part. Sales is actually very simple. It's not figuring out how to do a million different things. All of them have to be done world class, right? It's about figuring how to do a few things over and over again very well. And then, of course, idea number 3 is to change them and evolve them as the market changes. Right? It's very simple. People overcomplicate it. When you start doing this, when you start making something repeatable, then you can start thinking about scaling it. Right? If you have a sales system, right? Can you hire 50 more people, assuming that your production capability is there to support it? Can you hire 50 more people next month and get them all effective in a nice time frame, in a predictable time frame? Right. Why is that important? Number 1, selling is like sports, right? You train, you do, and it's about you coaching, right? But number 2 is if you figure out how to do it for 50, you probably figure out how to do it for 1. You know what the guy has to do in a systematic way, right? So it's very important to do this. I have a fish bowl with people in it. There's a picture over there. And I like to, in Singapore especially, ask people about this question. We are a small economy here, right? So the tendency, if you set up your business base here, is for you to be very inward-looking, and you start thinking small, like where the fish bowls are. When I used to grow fishes, I actually just got back into the hobby. Not that you care. I noticed a very strange thing. You put an angelfish in a small bowl, it never grows beyond a certain size, right? You put him in a bigger tank, he suddenly starts growing. You put him in a pond, wow, angelfishes actually grow that big. I think entrepreneurs' minds might be similar, right? So expand your fish tank, your fish bowl. Go make sure you understand what it's like out there. So when you talk about scaling, you're not talking about scaling it to this little bit. You're talking about scaling it to huge, right? So that's an exercise you can take. So basically, that's it. The three basic points: meaning, innovating, and selling. Make sure you get these right, and you'll be prepared. I think whether it's an upturn or downturn, I think you'll be prepared. So thank you, and your homework is there.